Just like bumping a 4-year-old thread on a message board, it's pretty shameless to revive a playlist that was set aside for 6 months. Hi, I'm Irene, and I'm shameless, because after neglecting my most popular video series for so long, a return may get showered with flowers or pelted with tomatoes. But then I performed an ego check. Pop went the balloon, and down I floated to my cushy green faux leather desk mat. That's right, I had to remind myself that in the big bad world of ArtTube, Inkworks is barely a speck of paint splatter, and that any thrown fruits can supplement tonight's dinner. It's taken 15 sessions to finally get to Phthalo Blue, PB15 to be precise, which is the red-leaning shade of this color. I'm only specifying that because there is a Phthalo Blue green shade, which is actually PB15-3. I understand phthalo blue pigments are widely used in manufacturing, from clothing to cosmetics to cars. They're pretty ubiquitous, I'd say. And I'm not even going to complain about the silent PH, because I'd rather ignore a couple of letters than have to pronounce another 8 of them. Yeah, the full term is phthalocyanine. At least it's easier to say than benzimidazolone, isoindolinone, or aminoanthraquinone. Sheesh, chemists. The paints here are Mijello's Mission Gold watercolors. They're from the Pure Pigment set, which consists of 34 single pigment colors. What I do in these sessions is select a dozen of those colors to mix with the featured one, which in this case is Phthalo Blue. For instance, the first mixing box on the left is Phthalo Blue combined with quinophthalone Yellow Light. One swatch is heavier on the yellow, while the other swatch is heavier on the blue. I tried to keep the palettes in frame as much as possible so the process would be clear. You know how older generations like to tell you stories about how they had to walk 3 miles to school in the snow, uphill, both ways? Well, it's not only a boomer thing, because I'm a Gen Xer and I walked 2 miles to school in the snow, partially uphill, one way. So I did have it a little better. That doesn't change the fact that most of the other high school seniors had their own car to shelter them from getting bombarded by snowballs. Perhaps I should title this video Childhood Trauma Journal, the Snow Day Edition. And when I say snow day, I mean day I had to go to school even though it snowed, because they didn't close my school until there was at least 6 inches. One winter, when I was very young, Mom sent one of my older brothers outside to shovel snow from the sidewalk. There was something like 1.5 feet of the stuff, so I'm sure it wasn't easy, especially for a teenager. To make matters worse, after he'd struggled to clear a section, Mom poked her head out of the house to yell, "You're doing it wrong. See that kid across the street? Do it like him." That was one of the few instances I witnessed my mother making a public scene. It was mortifying at the time, but now I can't stop laughing about it. I performed a lifting test on the big color swatch, and true to their word, this pigment is semi-staining. When it comes to human skin, however, I would call it fully staining. You can scrub and scrub, but it's staying put until a good 12 hours and an aggressive shower. In the meantime, resolve yourself to a lot of pointing and laughing. Ha ha, phthalo fingers. Every December, producer Mike and I like to dedicate one night to driving around the city, through some residential areas, and seeing how people have decorated their houses and yards. So that's what we did earlier this evening. Oh, I used a colored pencil from Faber-Castell's Polychromos line to sketch a simple snowman. Then I painted the piece using phthalo blue and some of the mixes demonstrated earlier. So during our drive, we saw colorful lights, inflatables, projectors, blow molds, and even the occasional complex tableau. There were candy canes lining pathways, snowmen gathered together in threes and fours, reindeer claiming rooftops, and nutcrackers acting as sentries at entries, all while we sipped hot cocoa from a travel tumbler and listened to Christmas tunes on warm 106.9. Afterward, we stopped at Carl's Jr. for dinner. I chose an original Angus burger. In recent years, it seems like fast food places, around here at least, have been extra stingy with the mayonnaise, making for under-lubed burgers. That was not the case here. Ours were well sauced, making them quite drippy and goopy. It was absolutely wonderful. I want to take a moment to talk about this Be Creative sketchbook. It's not the first one I've worked in. In the early days of this channel, another one was featured. Same name, same paper, same binding, just in a different size. The 5.5 by 8-inch version. By that time, I'd already filled a couple of Strathmore's cellulose watercolor sketchbooks. They were okay. At the time, I didn't have any issues with them, but I found the B paper, which is 100% cotton, so much more enjoyable. I eventually filled that book completely, and when it came time to pick a venue for the Mijello Journal project, it was a no-brainer to go with the Be Creative Watercolor Journal. Because I liked it, yes, but also because there weren't many affordable alternatives at the time. It seems like there are more options now for cotton watercolor journals, and even if some of them are rather pricey, at least there are choices. Arches and Hanamulla now offer sketchbook formats, joining Paul Rubens and Etcher, who already had similar products. Right now, Balhung and Meaden seem pretty popular in the watercolor paper field. I don't think they currently have watercolor sketchbooks, but in my opinion, it would be smart of them to horn in on that niche. Of course, there's no one perfect sketchbook. I've heard some people say they don't care for B paper. I get it. It does have a rather different feel from others, and all I can tell you is I enjoy it. Is it currently my favorite cotton watercolor paper? No. Is it currently my favorite cotton watercolor paper in a sketchbook format with a budget-friendly price? Yes. To finish the piece, I inked it with a black Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen, the one with a soft brush tip. It's been too many years since I built a snowman. There are techniques, right? To get proper size ratios and to maximize stability. I don't know any of them. That probably has something to do with the fact that I'm a homebody. My motto is, indoors is best doors. That means I don't art outside. Sure, I sometimes daydream about whipping out paints and brushes while strolling through the park, but what's more likely to happen is me taking a photo, then rushing home to paint in the comfort of my studio, preferably with the blinds closed tight. Don't want the neighbors to know what I'm up to, after all. Otherwise, I might have to deal with questions, such as, got your first 1,000,000 subscribers yet? No? Well, what's the holdup? Do you sleep all day or something? Here are the brushes that were used in this session. All are from Princeton's Neptune line. A 3/4 square wash, a number 4 quill, a number 8 round, a 3/8 dagger, and a number 2 round. I chose the Neptunes because I wanted a loose style of painting, and those soft and thirsty synthetic squirrel hairs are great for that. I'd hoped to have the Mijello journal finished before offering a related giveaway, but things don't always go to plan. And that's okay. There are plenty of filled pages inside that hopefully demonstrate this sketchbook favorably. So if you would like a chance at winning a brand new Be Creative watercolor journal, keep watching. Details on how to enter are coming in a moment. But first, I want to be clear on what the prize is. It is one Be Creative watercolor journal in the 5.5 by 8 inch size. It has 30 sheets of 140-pound, 100% cotton paper. It's wire-bound with sturdy, thick front and back covers. To enter, simply leave a comment on this video and include either the bee emoji or the word bee, that's BEE, somewhere in your comment. After 3 days, one lucky winner will be randomly selected and announced in a community post. That person will then have 48 hours to email me with a shipping address. There is no other onus on you. You pay nothing. I will then make haste to get it sent out to you. Good luck to all who participate, and thanks so much for watching. I'm happy to share this Mission Gold watercolor swatching, mixing, and painting session. Until next time, keep your eyes on the weather. You don't want to get caught in a sudden snowstorm while plein airing. Hey, it could happen. Which is why I don't even take that risk. So stay homesy, my friends. You know, it just occurred to me that my older brother was likely all riled up after getting publicly harangued over his snow shoveling technique. That might explain where all of that aggro came from during our 4-way snow fort fight later that day. Mystery solved.